Alright, here we go. It's time for the Settlers of Necropolis. Wait, what is it called? Settlers of Kalguur or something like that. League reveal. I barely played Necropolis. I think I played for like a week and then I moved on and I did a lot of WoW stuff during this league. But I am ready to come back to some PoE. I'm super excited. I've been playing like the past week, trying off some off-meta league starters. I have a Volcanic Fissure of Snaking build that I liked a lot. It was a chieftain, but I might change that. But it was really fun. I liked that a lot. So if there's any melee buffs here, I might be starting that. I don't expect a ton of melee buffs. I think the weapon quality thing will probably be the main thing that they do. People are definitely very excited for melee buffs, but I don't know if that's really going to happen. I hope that there is a pretty significant balance change because it's been years since we've had one. So that's really the biggest thing I hope for, is just a bit of a meta shakeup. Some new skills would be cool. The quality of life stuff that they've shown off already looks amazing. So just those changes alone should be pretty good. I hope they do something with tier 17. I really don't know what I want them to do with it, but I hope they do something. So here we go.
Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. Welcome to GGG Live. Today, we're going to show you an exclusive reveal of Path of Exile Settlers of Kalguur, which launches next week on July 26th. Twitch drops are enabled on today's
and I'm expecting the league mechanic to be like a city building simulator type thing where you like progress and make your city.
Today's stream, we will take you on a
and I think it's getting ready for PoE too. That's my expectation.
Challenge League. We'll cover the league mechanics, its new and revised crafting systems, a new trade market system for currency, some sweeping balance improvements including 2 Ascendancy class changes, endgame improvements, some further additions to the campaign,
what's the other one? Berserker maybe?
We'll then talk about our console native port releases and the features that come alongside them. Finally, we'll show you our new supporter packs, ending with a live Q&A session where Ziggy D will ask. I also have a bleed build ready to go if they do some bleed and glad stuff. We'll drop the full patch notes. I'll hand over to Mark now to introduce the new league.
We're really innovative with the content in this league, and I'm really excited to see what everyone thinks. So let's just get right into it with the trailer for Path of Exile, Settlers of Kalguur.
Okay, here we go. Log in, baby.
Raycast is a cursed land. You'd have to be mad to settle here. And yet, welcome to King's March. It's not much yet, but with your help,
so it's gonna be like a city building simulator type thing, I think.
Raycast has ever seen. We'll need resources and savvy planning. Soon we'll attract settlers, craftsmen.
Ooh, recombinators are back, maybe?
And of course,
I love the HP bar for bosses. I'm super excited for that. That should make the game just a lot more fun. Looks like a couple new bosses are in there. Yeah. Yeah, this is gonna be like a heist, delve,
the impossible
style, big end game, alternative end game type league. Respec with gold, huh? Currency exchange market, the auction house. Wait, Warden Ascendancy class. Wait, what? Gladiator rework. Wait, what was that thing about the Raider? Are they reworking Raider? The thing is back. The thing where it like shoots people and then what was that thing called? Touch the nuts, right?
In Path of Exile Settlers of Kalguur, you will encounter some familiar faces from the Expedition League. Danig, Rog, Tujin, and Gwenin are Kalguuran people who are trying to establish trade between Rayclast and their homeland. They have recruited many curious characters from Rayclast, including some
The
you may
auction
recognize,
house. I can't
but
believe they
also
actually put
seeking
that
help
into
of a
PoE.
powerful exile, like yourself. You will first encounter Johan, the King's Hand and Lionized Watch. He's there recruiting workers, traders, and exiles. Johan, under the command of the King of Kalguur, has been sent here to build a new city called King's March, which intends to become the hub of commerce between Rayclast and Kalguur. Soon, he will bring you to the planned site for King's March, which you'll notice has humble beginnings as just a tavern in a field. But with your help, it won't stay like this for long. It takes a lot to build a town. The Kalguurans will ask you to seek out resources that can be used to begin construction. On your adventures, you might find minerals such as crimson iron, which are veins of iron that have been overrun with corruption, spawning dangerous foes when you approach. Or perhaps
I was not expecting them to put gold into
PoE
PoE.
from the demons worshipping it. Petrified amber attracts mindless, blighted enemies, while bismuth has a strong affinity to the elements and causes the area to become unstable. If you're lucky, you might find vericium, a material as valuable as it is dangerous, and guarded by very powerful foes. Once you defeat these monsters, the deposit will automatically be tagged for mining. But first, we need to get someone to do the hard labor. This is of course a trade expedition and nothing is free. Miners, along with other workers that the Kalguurans have hired, must be paid in cold hard gold, which you'll notice is now dropping throughout Rayclast. You will have control about who gets hired into your enterprise. Once you have accumulated some gold, head to the town and talk to the recruiter, Raouf. He's been busy tracking down hardy folk across Rayclast who are looking for work. You'll notice each person has their specialties.
This is more or
and
less what I was
wage costs.
expecting.
It'll be up to you to
I was not
hire
expecting
and fire
gold.
as you please. Over the course of the league, you'll be searching.
I'm curious if that's going to be a
employees
permanent
for each
addition or if
job.
that's just for this league.
Once you have them, you'll have to keep them paid, safe, and
If it's just for the league mechanic,
which
if we're
we'll
going to
get
be able to
into
buy
later.
vendor items with gold like you can
here
in
we
PoE
have a
2.
prospect who has a specialty in mining. We'll start with that so we can begin to retrieve some of those resources we were talking about earlier. Let's go find some more and put our miner to use.
I like that they're actually like showing how the league mechanic actually
It's
gets
guarded
played
by
out.
dangerous
They usually
demons
don't do
worshipping
this.
a strange shrine.
They usually just like
Shrine
show some
blocks the demons,
teasers,
giving them
kind of
power,
leave it vague.
But once you defeat them, you can seize that power for yourself. After that, we can tag the ore, and our mining specialist will get to work. Soon, we encounter a few more deposits, each with a different dangerous encounter. After you have tagged the mineral veins, your miners will get to work collecting resources in real time.
Oh
They might take a while,
no.
but will continue
All
whether you
right,
are
I'm
logged in
in.
or not. The work can be sped up by hiring more or better miners, and by upgrading the mining station back in King's March to equip them with advanced pickaxes. Alright, some time has passed and our miners have been able
see
to
how
get
it
the
is.
resources back to town. We've also managed to collect some more gold too. We can now upgrade the town and build new structures. There's plenty of options, we just need to decide where to start.
It should be based on
I think
maps
we'll
you
start
run
with the
instead of
tavern,
real time
the beating heart
or
of
something like
King's
that,
March.
probably.
It can be upgraded instantly to improve the recruiter's prospects. And you can find various important NPCs relaxing here. Next, we'll upgrade our mining station. You can upgrade this to improve the efficiency of your miners and allocate our
Okay.
newly hired workers to mining.
Is there going to be more things than
You
just
will eventually
mining?
need a smelter, where you
Yeah.
can send your ore to turn into more valuable bars. Then we have the Disenchanter, where you can bring your magic, rare, or unique items to be added to a queue to be disenchanted over time. The items will be broken down into thaumaturgic dust, a new resource used for crafting and shipping. We'll get more into that later. And of course, a town needs food. You could invest in farming, where you can select crops to grow and harvest.
I think a lot of
Don't worry,
people,
you won't be manually
I think it's going to be
watering
very
anything.
divisive. I think a lot of people will love this and a
Wonders
lot of
of
people will hate it.
delegation.
I'm kind of
With all
excited
these
for it.
resources piling up, there
So-
will be excess that we can spend. Let's talk about rewards.
Looks like there's like 6 different things to do.
Eventually, you can build a harbour and establish shipping routes between a number of different Kalguuran and Karui ports for trade. You'll be able to pile your acquired resources onto these ships and send them to a port of your choosing, where your traders will have you for the best deals.
Wait, hold up. I'm actually so curious about the PoE map.
Based on what you send them. They accept all types of resources, but will have a preferred type that they'll currently pay more for. And you'll want to get onto this, because eventually you could be bringing in shipments like this. This.
Uh-huh, 6 diff, saw those.
Today, we're going to trade with Kalguur. You'll notice that as we send more resources, this risk meter creeps up. Much like the dangers on the shores of Reclast, there are dangers out
So this is exactly what I was hoping for, a really in-depth alternate endgame style league mechanic. And
you can do this by hiring workers that specialize in shipping.
These type of mechanics are always hit and miss. Heist famously was a terrible league mechanic when it first came out, but these days it's actually pretty fun and pretty popular. So this could be very hit or miss.
And we'll continue exploring Reclast while we wait for its return. This is
I wonder if that
the
one's
first
real time
Path
as
of
well.
Exile league that experiments with true real-time mechanics.
Okay.
You can send out shipments, go and have lunch, and come back to your rewards.
I don't hate it. I think a lot of people will just like inherently be against that.
When your shipment has returned or met its demise,
Real-time
you'll get
stuff.
notified, and at your leisure you can return to the town to collect your rewards. Our shipment returned safely, so let's go see what we got. Cool, they've sent us a unique item alongside our rewards.
You know, ward equal to 50% of evasion and armor from body armor.
Aside from shipping, the Kalguurans are big on their technology.
More reward stuff this patch, I guess.
A
Makes
familiar
sense.
face from the Heist League. She is an engineer who the Kalguurans have employed for a very exciting purpose. You're not the only one who understands how profitable running maps can be. Once at endgame, Isla can help you build a series of Kalguuran modified map devices. You can then put a queue of maps into them.
What?
If you've hired a few skilled Atlas runners, they will put themselves to work running those maps for you one after
You're
another.
hiring other exiles?
Look,
What
more
the?
delegation. Once again,
This is literally, I think
finding the
Quinn was
rewards
actually
ready to be
wanting
collected.
this. Like,
You can put lots of maps in the queue, so don't feel obliged to go back there all the time. Be careful though. The difficulty of the map impacts the risk of your workers perishing. Try to pick your best workers, or perhaps just ones you don't like. Consider the difficulty too. Sometimes it's better to just run it yourself. You'll see there are many
I
benefits
wonder if it
to
counts
having
towards
a whole
map
ass town at
completion
your
and stuff like
fingertips.
that.
Let's talk about crafting services.
I'm pretty sure it said it was like 30
You
to
should
100
definitely
hours.
consider
to
building a
run it, so.
runesmithing table. This is
Maybe
operated by
that's
Danik
minutes.
himself, using powerful Kalguuran blacksmithing arts. He can engrave runic magic onto your weapons using runes. There are many rune types and combinations to choose from, and you can unlock new crafts that can be applied to your weapons as enchantments. Our design intention here is to take powerful effects you would usually only find on unique items, like this modifier, which you might recognize from Doomfletcher's Prism. Danig can apply it to your two-hand maces.
What?
There are over 100 different special crafting outcomes, ranging from ones very easily applied to very difficult. The rune types can be acquired through trade with Kalguur, or defeating powerful bosses. The Kalguuran tech benefits don't end there.
This.
We're also bringing back a formerly overpowered crowd favorite.
Yeah, dude, this. Oh, I
Recombination.
love Recombinators. This is one of the best things I've ever done to the game.
She just needs you to help her with
It's a lot of
getting
gold
resources.
equipment, Jesus.
The system isn't as strong as it used to be, but it still allows you to combine two items together, hoping to get the best modifiers of
Dude,
each.
the
onto a
life rolls
single
are so
item.
high. Can't wait till we get to that part.
Between running a town, shipping, and exploring, you'll be collecting a lot of extra gold. It is now the primary resource for 2 huge new quality of life features that we are putting to test. Firstly, you can use gold to respec passive points. This is a feature from Path of Exile 2 that we've decided just makes sense to port back. The higher level you are, the more expensive it gets. And the next one is absolutely massive. A currency trade market.
The auction house. This is gonna be.
Recruited Faustus, another NPC from the Heist League. He allows you to asynchronously buy and sell currency and most other stackable items with other players without the nuisance of price fixes and people who never respond. All you need to do is select what currency you want, say what you have, and your ideal ratio. It works kinda like a real-life stock market. Faustus will make the trade happen for you, so long as there is someone selling on the other end for the same rate or less. You'll be able to go back to blasting monsters while trusty Faustus does the dirty.
That is like actually revolutionary for the game.
Ready for collection. All you need to do
I think they
is
should do it for
a small
maps
amount of
too.
gold
Anything
for this
that's
month. Cards on the table. This is an experiment to see if this type of asynchronous trading has a place in future Path of Exile releases.
Cards?
We're very excited to see how it goes. Given that Faustus is an
Maybe I will
expert
play
in
Trade
black
League.
market trade and shady deals, he also provides another service, offering items for gold. The items will generate with random rarity, and on average the modifiers on them are better than normal. This can be a very nice way to get some targeted items during the campaign. For serious crafters, it can be a great starting point for making those elusive, specific in-game items, which perhaps you could take to the runesmith afterwards.
Dude, that flash charges gained modifier is so high. Is that normal? Does it normally go up to 40?
Where he will always be available for respecking, currency exchange, and black market items. As your town grows, it will attract more attention, good and bad. Settlers of Kalguur features 3 endgame bosses that will close in on your operation, wanting a piece of the pie. They might capture and ransom your workers, even your entire ships. You'll have to make some tough decisions. Will you take them on, or pay them off? One example of a boss is Sasan, the Bandit Lord.
Susan.
You won't stumble across this boss by accident. Instead, this unsavory character can come into your town at night and take your Atlas runners hostage, holding them for ransom. What happens next is up to you. Perhaps you'll refuse to negotiate with bandits, leading to a fight to defeat Sasan and rescue your workers. If you're not up for the heroics, you might simply pay the ransom in gold. Or perhaps these workers were especially disappointing, and you'll just leave them for dead, in true Ray class fashion. They knew what they were signing up for, right?
So where are we in Ray class? I know I want to look at that map more.
Might be worth it for other reasons. These bosses can drop new unique items.
Ward minus max chance to block. Chance to block is lucky though. I didn't see the last one.
With new mechanics that will completely change how you play
Trigger
the core game.
sucketed elemental spell on
We've been
block.
sitting on a lot of these ideas for a while and can't wait to share them with you. But there's a lot more to this expansion. Let's talk about balance.
That shield might actually be good.
We've finally
this
rebalanced the Gladiator.
Finally,
it's been a long
dude.
time coming.
For real though.
Like
All right.
before, there are passive skills that allow you to invest in bleeding and block.
Dual wielding bonus.
We've designed new skills replacing some of the old ones.
Just block.
Like this,
Fuck,
War of Attrition, which is very handy for long sustained boss fights. Further alongside the Gladiator theme, this new passive allows you to combine different weapon types while dual wielding to get a variety of powerful bonuses.
That's pretty sweet.
For example, holding a dagger will give you more critical strike chance.
What about claw and
holding a
leech?
mace
Isn't
gives you more area of
AoE,
effect.
accuracy.
Of
These aren't
course,
that
you
powerful
could just
though.
use Varanastra for all weapon type bonuses. And finally, we have a new notable which allows you to invest in the newly
Shot's
added
cool.
retaliation skills. These are active skills which require you to meet a certain condition in order to use them.
Okay.
Once you meet that condition, you can unleash devastation on your foes. Here we have Eviscerate, which requires you to have a shield. Or for those who like to dual wield, Sword Storm, which is great for obliterating bosses. Here we have the Divine Retribution skill. This one has the condition requiring you to block. You can then unleash a devastating shot.
Wait, so those
causing
other
lightning
ones
to strike
didn't
the
I
ground
figured
and
they all
chip
required
around
you
your
to
target
block.
location,
Because they're
doing huge
retaliation
amounts of
skills.
damage.
Okay.
And of course, in true Path of Exile fashion, there are many avenues to invest in these mechanics further on the passive tree and a new support gem.
10 rage on him
You are
with
able to
retaliation
increase the
skills.
leeway duration after meeting the condition,
Few new
reduce the
clusters.
cooldowns,
Let me look at the rest of
or
the
just
tree.
increase their damage. The
There's a
world's
new
your
cluster
oyster.
next to the fire
The
cluster.
Gladiator wasn't the only Ascendancy class we've changed. As we develop Path of Exile systems, we often find ourselves reusing mechanics, increasing their depth, and allowing more avenues to invest into them. As such, the Raider Ascendancy class found itself lacking, with many of its passives commonly available elsewhere.
Yeah. So literally
We
just a
want our
bucket of
Ascendancy
stats.
classes to always feel like they're pushing the boundaries, allowing you to change your character in ways that are meaningful and ideally unique.
Yeah, they renamed it to
As a
something
result,
else.
we've straight up removed the Raider,
Yeah.
rest in peace. And we've added a new class in its place, the Warden.
The Warden.
This class
Whoa.
is largely inspired by its predecessor from the Affliction League, with a few changes.
Oh, really?
The Warden
has
now
so many
focuses
ascendancy
on
points, I
elemental
feel like.
attacks, changing the behavior of shock,
Shocks from your hits increase damage taken by 2%.
enhancing freeze, and
I can't read them
replacing
fast
Scorch.
enough. Okay, so we have
There's also a skill that allows you to go ballistic with your elemental damage, periodically. The class also
I can't
grants
read them fast
Bark
enough.
Skin, which is a skill
I
that can
liked
be used
Bark
to
Skin a
mitigate
lot.
physical damage from hits. After taking a
I wonder if
number
it's
of hits,
still-
it increases your evasion, making it a great defensive choice.
25%
Finally,
reservation.
the last thing the Warden can specialize in is tinctures.
If it's oh
These are an
really?
alternative to flasks from the Affliction
Wait,
League.
how do you get them
We're bringing
then?
them back with adjusted mechanics.
How are you gonna introduce a tincture?
Tinctures can be placed in your belt, replacing flasks. You can inherit
Okay, so
or only
anybody
have
can use
one
them, but a
tincture
raider
active
can
at a
equip
time.
2 of them, and they get
And it
specialized.
requires a melee weapon to use. While activated, they grant a powerful buff. They can drop as magic items, or be modified with currency to grant extra bonuses.
That looks a lot
Here
stronger
is
than
a
it was.
prismatic tincture. This
Yeah.
one increases elemental damage by 100% while active.
8
You'll notice
second
it has
cooldown when
two extra effects.
deactivated.
One is that it applies
Mana
mana
burn.
burn every second. Mana burn is a debuff that builds up while tinctures are active
mean,
that
just
causes
life
you to
tap.
lose mana, losing more mana for each stack. Tinctures also have a cooldown, so once you have disabled one, no other tincture can be enabled for a time. These changes make tincture use a more active and
Yeah,
interesting choice.
that's
than
cool.
was
I like
in
this a
Affliction.
lot. They also
Both
look way
mana
more
burn
powerful.
And the cooldown can be modified through
Pretty much the only
modifiers
tincture that was
tinctures
used before was the
or
poison
passive
one.
skill tree. Players will want to maximize their tincture uptime for sure. Here we have a couple other tinctures.
Here's the poison
The
one.
poisonberry tincture is excellent
changed
for
it.
poison builds. The
No
rose
longer
thorn tincture is the
everything
choice
is
for
poison,
those wanting to deal
which
critical
is good.
strikes.
Hopefully they did that to the assassin, but
You might be wondering, with the removal of the Raider, where has the Frenzy Charge investment gone? We've added a Frenzy Charge passive skill to the Deadeye, replacing
dang,
the
that frenzy
Rupture
charge,
passive
he's
skill.
second while moving. Huh? That's kind of
On top of
Good.
Ascendancy classes, we have revisited a number of core mechanics. This time taking pains to ensure easy access through the passive tree, skill gems, and simple items. We don't want all the powerful mechanics to be hidden behind layers
Deadeye
of complexity.
buff, dude. That's actually kind of
Let's
crazy.
just rapid fire through the key points. If you want more detail later, you can read the patch notes, which will be dropped after the live stream. Be sure to let us know what you think. There's a lot of changes, so be prepared for a bit of a shock to the system.
Thank goodness, dude.
I
This
expect
is
it will take several days for the dust to settle on this one.
the first time they've done a
Firstly,
significant meta
we've
change
made
in
some drastic
years. It's been like
alterations to
3
melee
years or
skills.
so.
Let me just rip this band-aid off. Melee totem skill gems have been removed.
Really? I'm surprised they didn't change them into
We're
their own
trying
totems.
to adopt a philosophy with melee
Like
going
a
forward that, unlike other builds,
build around.
it will be far less oriented around set and forget gameplay. You will deal the damage yourself, and you should be rewarded
That
for doing
EQ
so.
looks really big.
To compensate, we have buffed the damage on almost every single melee skill. As the majority of this damage growth comes from gem levels, we have also made them cost more mana as they level, but it's nothing like the mana costs on spells. Here are some examples of the damage and costs before and after.
Yeah, we have to
Strike
see.
has gone from dealing 313% attack damage at gem level 20 to a massive 552% attack damage. It's also worth noting it no longer knocks enemies back.
Nice, that was
And
actually.
Sweep has gone from dealing 281% attack
So they got rid of the
damage
flat fizz
to
on there
now
though.
dealing 664%
So it's gonna
attack
be
damage at gem
even
level
more
20.
important to have a good weapon on some of
These
these
are just
attacks,
two
especially Bone
examples,
Shatter, I hope.
But the majority of melee skills are now dealing approximately 75% more damage at level 20. Of course, with melee comes close proximity combat.
Alright, that's
so
gonna be
you need some
stupid.
good defensive options. New base types with higher defensive values will
Melee
now
is gonna
drop
be
throughout the endgame.
ridiculously
As you
overpowered.
reach yellow, red, and purple maps,
New base
you can
types.
expect to find higher tier base types in each.
Higher strength requirement on
For
that too.
example, Val Regalia and Hubris Circlet are no longer the best in slot items for Energy Shield. There
Wow,
are
they
new
actually
base
added
types that
3 of them.
surpass them. Combined with some quality changes, which we'll talk about soon, you can now get better items than ever before in these slots. To compensate, we have reduced the amount of flat evasion and armor from the Grace and Determination auras.
Thank God.
But
I've been
overall,
saying
you're
they
getting
gotta
more
do
defensive
that
than before.
for so long. Ever since they did the change. It was like
On
2
top of
years
this,
ago.
We have buff life modifiers on magic and rare equipment. You can now get as high as 189 additional maximum life from a single modifier on body armors, and more on other slots too.
I think it was like 130 for the other ones.
Kaum's
Dude.
Heart has also finally been restored to its former glory, and once again grants plus 1000 to maximum life.
This is gonna be a
mentioned
massive meta
quality.
shakeup.
Quality on weapons and armors is being changed to apply multiplicatively. In other words, weapons with full quality will give 20%
Harvest
more
qualities
physical
I'm
damage,
curious about.
and armor with full quality will have 20% more local defenses. For melee, this will mean a damage increase for almost all builds using physical damage attacks, and it will mean more evasion, armor,
And
energy shield,
what about
and
the
more for
harvest
all
scraps?
builds. Endurance charges no longer
Really
grant
nothing.
elemental resistances, but instead
Oh.
grant additional elemental damage reduction,
No
making
way.
it multiplicative with resistances.
Oh my goodness,
You
dude.
can now get 4% per charge, alongside the existing 4%
This is gonna
physical
be
damage
gross.
reduction.
We're gonna be so
To
overpowered.
compensate, we have made some changes to the Juggernaut, and
Okay.
various unique items like Eternal Damnation. You can get more
Oh,
maximum
interesting,
resistances
alright.
from the tree, specifically around
They
the relevant
added
class
even
star. These, of
more
course,
max
stack with
res.
the new elemental mitigation from endurance charges. On top of this, Duels can now roll maximum elemental resistances as
Oh my
modifiers.
goodness.
Since we're making elemental mitigation more accessible, we've heavily reduced accessibility to physical damage taken as chaos or elemental damage.
Okay.
Those stats
Alright.
are still around, but you should not expect to
I
be getting
don't
full
think that
conversion
matters
anymore.
though.
All block passives have
We're
been
gonna
buffed,
be
so
so
you can now
tanky.
more easily achieve block cap from just the passive tree.
Dude.
The Keystone Versatile Combatant
I was planning on
has been
using that like
improved to
that.
have less of a penalty to maximum block.
I think
A
it was
number of life
15%
leech
before,
passives
now
have
it's
been buffed
10%.
to generally allow for more acquisition of maximum leech rate for life. Vow Pact has been reinstated to its former glory
No
for instant
way.
life leech, but only for melee.
Oh my
Reworked
goodness,
Flesh and Stone.
dude. Slayer
Previously, this
login.
buff skill granted maim and blind, depending on the stance of our character. Now, while in sand stance, the skill simply
This
provides damage
is-
mitigation, becoming more effective the closer you are to enemies. While in blood stance, enemies will take more physical damage. the
This is
closer
too
you are to
much,
them.
man.
This skill will now greatly favor melee or close range gameplay.
I mean, melee is just gonna, like, I
Given
have
we're
been
doing a
saying
Kalguuran League,
that melee
Kalguur
is,
has
like,
also received a bit of
unironically
attention.
overpowered. Everybody always talks
There
about how
are new
bad
units
melee
that are
is when it's
aboard,
literally the
and
strongest
base
archetype in the
restoration
game.
reward is now
And it's
faster.
going to be at least twice
To
as good
compensate,
now
Lord's
than it was
Resolve has
before.
been
And it
nerfed,
was already the
but
best.
Wardwood
Like,
build
this is
will
just
still
gonna be
be possible.
ridiculous.
Anyway, that was most of the purely defensive changes. Now let's look at some of the offensive and utility-based ones. There are more and better ways to deal with mana as an attacker on the southern hemisphere of the passive tree.
Yeah, there's a lot of new clusters, actually. Ooh, wait, is that an additional
Wands,
reservation cluster?
daggers,
Ooh,
scepters, claws, and staves now have higher critical strike chance values than ever.
Oh, really?
10% without modifiers.
Damn.
Sandstorm Visage has been made rarer to compensate, instead of reducing its power.
Okay.
For you wand attackers, wands now have higher attack speed than ever to compensate for their low damage. Wand
Maybe I'll
exclusive
try
skills such as
Wander.
Power Siphon, Kinetic Bolt, and Kinetic Blast now have faster attack.
Oh man, oh man. Spellcasters,
Revised and
rest in
general
peace. Wow, +1 impale right there. Impale effect is pretty good
The
too.
buffs granted by Warcries are now simpler, but more significant, and more universal to builds. They also now apply to allies by default. Banners have been reworked. Instead of having a reservation cost, they are now free.
What?
However, they don't grant a permanent buff. Banners now need to be placed for the effect to be active. However, once placed, they are far more powerful than before.
I didn't see how
Additionally, there are
long they
new
last
ways to
for.
prolong the
That
effects
matters quite a bit.
and more ways to invest in them than ever before. Rage has been made
This
more
is-
fundamental and discoverable.
Ooh.
Rage is now multiplicative.
I can't believe
effective,
they're actually doing all the
no
things that
longer
people were
inherently
speculating
grants
about.
attack
This is
speed or
absurd.
movement.
Like
It
people
has
were
a
talking
new
about
cap,
getting
and you can find
rage
many new passive clusters that
as
allow
a
you to invest into the
non-berserker,
mechanic.
and I'm just like, you are on
The goal
copium,
is
and
to
they're
make
actually
Rage
doing
more
it.
powerful as a baseline, and less gated behind the use of specific unique items and ascendancy classes.
This is
Berserk has been nerfed, just so you're aware. We have changed how bleed works too. You can now find aggravated bleed on the passive tree. When applied, all bleeds on the enemy will deal damage as if the enemy is moving, for the remainder of their duration. The skill Ensnaring Arrow no longer interacts with bleed, so no more will you have to apply bleeds and swap to a bow. You can now achieve the same result using aggravated bleed passives.
I think they
without
went
the
too
annoyance.
far. I think this is too much power creep.
Rupture from the Deadeye has been turned into a support gem.
That's cool. I like that a lot
We've
more.
added the new Overexertion support gem, which highly favors
wow.
slam builds. Now,
Dude, that's
it's time
insane
to look
more
at a
multiplayer.
hot topic, Magic Find.
They actually are doing the
In
magic
Settlers
find
of
thing.
Kalguur expansion, we are going to be removing item quantity bonuses from all
Wow.
character items. This will not affect existing items in standard leagues. Magic Find is intended to be another axis on your gear you can scale once you have
Holy.
achieved the power you want. With item quantity being only available on unique items, this meant if you wanted to get the most out of it, you had to be playing a very specific build. We still want people to be able to invest into Magic Find, but now only through item rarity.
Okay.
This can be obtained on a number of rare item slots, and by a much
I think
larger
that's
number
fine.
of builds. What about Ventor's Gamble, you might ask?
Reservation
now.
efficiency. Okay.
This is
It
one
probably
of the
goes up to
biggest
20
balance
too if
patches
it was
we've
at
ever
11%,
done.
maybe
I
15.
can't promise that
a
existing
lot.
builds will all be safe.
What
Even
a patch,
we
man.
aren't able to predict
I
all the
have been
outcomes here,
waiting for
nor
a
have
patch
we
like
even
this
gone into every
for
single
2 to
change,
3 years.
just
I
the
have
major
been,
ones.
you know, like Path of Exile is an
I
amazing
don't know,
game. It's
man.
deep as hell.
Balance is
You
hard.
can play forever
But the sheer
without
number
a
of
balance
new,
patch, but I have
viable
just been
options is
itching for a balance
exciting,
patch for so long.
especially for Melee. And
For
we're
Melee.
determined to drag the game in a better direction. Be sure to
I
read the
don't
patch
know
notes
if
after
this is actually
It's
in a
going
better
to be a
direction.
ruckus.
I think they
In
went way too
324,
far
we
with a lot of
overhauled
this stuff,
the
actually.
in-game
I think it's going to be
experience by
really
introducing
overpowered.
a new tier of maps and reworking scouts.
Which is okay, you know, like it's
We want
fine to be
continue
overpowered, but they're
improve
going to have to
these
reel it back in
systems
the
and
future.
introduce more exciting in-game content every league. 325 is no exception. Let's check out the myriad of changes coming in Settlers of Kalguur. First up, we are changing many scarabs. We won't go into too much detail here to avoid getting lost in the weeds, but here's a few new ones. Be sure to check out the patch notes after this for more detail. We've also added an additional map device slot, which will be unlocked upon completing your first 10-way Maven encounter. This simply allows for more combinations of scarabs in maps, resulting in more difficulty and more rewards. This is on top of the existing additional quest that can be unlocked by completing your first Tier 17 map. There are now 6 map device slots in total. You might have seen our teaser, where we revealed we'll be adding new special encounters to the endgame. One such encounter is the Nameless
Yes,
Set,
I was
lurking
so
in
hoping
Tier
they would bring this
16
guy back.
and 17 maps.
This
This NPC
Scry
will give you a
map, man.
selection of unique items and you can pick one for free. In Tier 16 maps, he now has an additional feature, where you can scry a map. This allows you to swap the divination card drops of the current map with another map on your atlas. Just one caveat, you cannot have the same map be in multiple swaps at the same time. If you want to undo your choice, you can use a scouring orb on either map on your atlas.
Oh, good. That'll be pretty fun.
We've also made some updates to a couple of leagues. Blight has been updated with some atlas passive skill changes, and double anointed amulets can now drop in Blight Ravaged maps. We've also introduced a new type of oil that can only drop from blighted
First and final
and
shots
Blight
of
Ravaged
barrage
maps.
fire projectiles that return to you. Yeah.
Ritual has also been updated. You can now find one new and many reworked base types, new unique items, corpses you can use to raise as specters,
Nice.
and occasionally
Where'd you get the
a
corpses?
fragment,
Oh, in Ritual.
granting
Okay.
access to the King in the Mists boss fight from the Affliction League.
Nice. That
He will
which
drop
was
a number
taken
of
as
unique
back.
items that were familiar from the league, but not that which was taken.
Oh,
It is
come
now
on.
that which was taken away.
Oh, okay.
However, he now drops a different modular jewel that you might
Huh?
recognize from the Necropolis League.
Huh? The Light of Meaning. Oh, okay. So it's the Parandus
In Tier
jewel
16 and
from
Tier 17
Necropolis.
maps, you can now encounter the Wildwood, also from the Affliction League. In
This
case you
is
missed
big,
it,
man.
The Wildwood is a mysterious forest fraught with danger.
What's
In
the
the darkness, you will find magical wisps
little drone that
yearning for
follows you
freedom.
around? What they call that shit?
Upon releasing them, they will empower the
Sentinel.
monsters in your map.
God, it was so close. It was on the tip
promising
of my
more
tongue for like
danger,
an
but
hour.
more reward.
They brought Sentinel back too. Where's that
You
at?
may also
Yeah,
find
there it
random
is.
sentinels on the ground near the start of your maps.
Oh
the Sentinel League.
shit! I love
They work in a
Sentinels.
similar way to before. They aren't items, but you can click on them and then they can be activated in that area at any time of your choosing.
I love Sentinels.
Upon activation, they will buff monsters around you, increasing their difficulty and rewards. And here's one for those who like to live dangerously. You may occasionally find a reflective mist from the Kalandra League.
Oh.
It has two outcomes. It could drop a jewelry item with randomly enhanced or inverted modifier values, or it can give a reflecting mist item, which can be used on an existing piece of jewelry to perform the same action at a time of your choosing.
Oh my
Block.
goodness. That's gonna be worth
There's
100
many other small
divines.
changes to League content. We're removing the first 15 most
This is a
boring
nice
ways
change.
of
I don't really
using
do that much
and rebalancing
Simulacrum,
its
but this is
rewards
definitely a
to
really good
improve
change
the
for the people
chances
that
of
do.
finding unique jewels.
I just get super bored of it.
We're also adding some of the beasts from Einhard's
But maybe
Memory
that'll
of
help with
Harvest Beasts to the core pool.
Ooh.
This includes the Black Morrigan. In other news, we've added a set of new chisel types, which can be applied to your maps to get different bonuses. While the card publisher's chisel still increases item quantity, there are new ones that now increase rarity, pack size, increased chance for currency items, divination cards, and scarabs.
Alright.
It's also worth mentioning that chisels now apply 20% quality per chisel to white maps, 10% to yellow maps, and 5% to red maps and higher.
Can you do multiple of each
Unique
quality?
maps still
Probably
require
not.
the full 20 chisels. Also, only one type of chisel
Yeah.
can be applied to a map at a time.
Yeah, figured.
During 3.24, we made a change to
Yeah,
tier
okay, so
17
what did we
maps
do
that
here?
allowed them to be rerolled with Chaos Orbs. We are now expanding the currency types that can be used on them to also include currencies like chisels and Val Orbs.
But like,
Ultimately, the only restriction tier 17 maps now have is that explicit modifiers cannot be removed from them. We have also revised the difficulty of these maps, as they didn't quite hit the mark. The monsters in them now have substantially less life,
okay, good.
and deal less damage, meaning tier 17 maps now better fit into the progression between pinnacles.
Because like they
and
were
the
so much
pinnacle
harder
content.
than Uber bosses. It made no sense.
Lastly, we've adjusted the drop rate of Valdo's puzzle boxes.
This is
Previously,
cool,
we
I
were
guess. I
adapting
prefer
its drop rate
reliquary
based
keys
on the
personally because I
possible
like the
outcomes
shiny loot.
selected by supporters.
I guess you can get shiny loot
So
from
many supporters really wanted Mage Bloods,
puzzle boxes
so
too.
the box was hardly dropping. Thus, we have drastically increased the drop rate of the box, but reduced the probability of getting chase unique items from it like Mage Blood.
This is a good change.
Overall,
like
we
that.
have taken care not to
What is
reduce the
this?
number of Mage Bloods total in the economy. We figured it was better to have
Wait,
more
why is it
tickets
just in
for
the
fun
map?
rather than barely seeing any boxes in a league.
Oh, was that a
We've been hard at work
oh, I've never
improving
actually
the
done
Path of
one.
Exile experience
Is that how
on
you get it
consoles.
in one of those reliquary maps or whatever
With
they're called?
native ports for the Xbox Series consoles already being released,
Console
and PS5
stuff.
on the near horizon, the game now takes full advantage of the console hardware. Loading times have been reduced even further, pop-in has been reduced, and textures won't start unloading in heavy scenes. Furthermore, overall visual fidelity has been improved for
It does
all
actually
new
look pretty
generation
good.
consoles. Path of Exile now uses
But
the
I
highest
definitely
available resolution textures and water effects.
Do not care.
We've installed a new upscaling
I mean, it's
algorithm
cool,
that
you know,
improves
like,
the crispness
more
of
players
dynamic
is always better
resolution,
than worse.
with an
than less.
additional anti-aliasing pass on top of that. With these upgrades, we also support variable refresh rate TVs and monitors on PlayStation 5 and on all Xbox consoles. In the options, players can now choose which aspect of visual fidelity they want to focus on: resolution, image quality, or target frame rate. In 3.24, we added some new encounters.
I like
and
these
secrets
campaign
to the
improvements
campaign.
quite a bit. It makes
In
it a
Settlers
little
of
bit more
Kalguur,
interesting.
we're
and
adding
fun.
even
It also
more.
gives you a lot more
We're
power.
not going to spoil them all here, but keep an eye out for anything unfamiliar on your adventures. Who knows what you'll find? I mean, I know, but still. There's an underground bunker underneath the refinery, guarded by powerful robots? I wonder what's been hidden away here. How do I unlock this mysterious door? What riches must lay inside?
Interesting.
Blighted growths have appeared in the gardens and sewers of San. A vault containing riches can be found in the reliquary.
Ooh, a reason to go back to the
As you might
reliquary.
have seen in our teasers, there's a slew
Not that we
of
don't have to
quality
do
of
it
life
anymore.
features we've been working on. Here's a quick summary. You'll no longer need to interact with waypoints to unlock them. You can just walk
So
by.
these are probably
and
all
they'll
the teasers
activate
that they showed
automatically.
off. I can't wait for
When
the
using
weapon
keyboard and
pickup
mouse,
or the
you'll
item
be able to
pickup
pick
range.
up items from further away.
God, it's so much better,
We're
dude.
adding static life bars to some
I
bosses.
love this.
Not all bosses will have them just yet, but we'll be adding more over time.
I love the
You can now
HP
see
bar.
which divination cards drop in each map by hovering over them on your atlas. When you die, you can now resurrect without having to reactivate all your reservation effects, like auras and heralds.
Look at all the soft core
You can start
losers.
harvest encounters with just a single action.
Oh, that'd be nice. It'll be good to
The
have.
amount of quality provided by currency items like whetstones is now based on the item level, rather than item rarity. Those currencies now apply a 20% quality to very low level items, with that amount reducing as the item level increases. Next up, we're going to be talking about our new League supporter packs. Today, we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs.
What a huge
the
patch.
Paladin and Penance packs. Each tier contains the pack's full
It's
face value
basically
in points,
what I was hoping for. They
alongside
went
several
way
exclusive
beyond
microtransactions.
what I was expecting with the balance
These packs
patch.
are only available for the duration of the Settlers
But
of
I think the
Kalguur
league
League,
mechanic
and will
looks
leave the
like
store forever when it ends.
a
As
really
always,
fun
the
system to dive
microtransactions in these
into.
packs
I'm
are
curious
fully
how it
cosmetic
plays out
and
in
do
like
not
the
affect your
typical
character's power
mapping
or progression in any way.
gameplay
The
loop.
Paladin series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
Robo racing.
Adorn your weapon or shield with the Paladin weapon effect. Make a show of leveling up with the Harpy flyover level up effect. Equipping the Divine Paladin armor set will periodically cause slain enemies to be consecrated and laid to rest. This set also comes with a matching back attachment. Both the helmet and back attachment have options to display the radiant glow, or not. You pick. The Divine Judgment finisher effect locks onto unique enemies before obliterating them with a laser from the heavens. May your critical hits resonate across Rayclast with the Cleric's Bell back attachment. Invite your friends to spend a day at the races in the Vasteri Racecourse hideout. Add rowers to the track to race them against each other. Or you can just spectate from the sidelines. The Penance Pack series also has 6 exclusive microtransactions. With the penance back attachment equipped,
What the hell? It's so
repentant
tall.
soul is chained to your back and lashed with lightning. Ouch. Place none other than the Trial Master in your hideout and have him comment on your chaos.
A classic, but far fairer now than in ancient times.
And Val crafting attempts.
Your luck is over, fool.
He even keeps a record of how many Chaos and Val orbs you've used in your hideout during the league, or across all leagues. Blood stains your armor the more life you lose when wearing the Acolyte's Penance armor set. The Zealot's Madness portal effect fragments as you near it. The Cauldron map device boils maps, fragments, and scarabs placed into it, keeping a tally of how many have been thrown into the pot in the current league or across all leagues. The exiled squire pets follow in your footsteps, hyping you up for battles,
Sweat for you, boss.
providing pessimistic commentary,
The cycle repeats.
Dude, what am I
forcing
gonna
their disdain for
play?
you to bring you down a peg.
About time you kicked the bucket.
I kind of want to play a Wander. I haven't played a
These
Wander
packs
since
are now
Instacking
available
back
for
in the day.
purchase on both PC and console, and will remain so during Path of Exile, Settlers of Kalguur.
Wow, what a stream, man.
Meanwhile, the Solar and Eldritch packs leave the store forever at the launch of Settlers of Kalguur League.
Oh, I forgot
So
about
now's
that
your
mimic
last chance
chest.
to purchase them. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. Now, we have one more thing to announce before getting into the Q&A. We are soon going to be running a small closed beta test for Path of Exile 2.
I'm registering right now.
We have been taking signups for the Path of Exile 2 beta tests over at pathofexile2.com. We will only be selecting a very limited number of people for this first test.
It's not up.
But if you want to make
Oh,
sure
wait, I
that you're
typed it wrong.
considered, then head over to the website and register your email address now.
My email
We're
address.
just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards, we'll post Path of Exile Settlers of Kalguur's full patch notes. With release at the end of next week, our community team will be posting crucial information you'll need for Settlers of Kalguur's release. Keep an eye on the news.
Wow.
On release
What a
weekend,
stream, man.
We expect to launch the new mystery box and this season's Kerax Vault Pass. Thanks for joining us today and checking out our latest developments. We're looking forward to building our towns alongside you, trying new builds, slaying monsters, and exploring new in-game strategies next week. We'll begin the Q&A shortly.
Oh, I
so
got
please
access
get your
to a
questions
different
ready.
beta game. I don't even know what this is. Mountaintop? I don't remember signing up to that. Holy moly, what a stream, dude. Hello?
Dan.
Dude.
Dan.
Oh my goodness.
Dan.
What is even happening, man?
This is an entirely new game.
Are you signed up for PoE 2 beta, by the way?
I just went and did it.
We are live from the Granny
I
Game.
haven't got a
Studios.
email though.
All three of us in person.
Yeah, I'm going to check
for the first time.
right now.
Very exciting and massive
dude.
Q&A after some real
That
work
was
last
Insane.
night. Some huge announcements there.
Insane
One.
patch.
League mechanic.
Looks
Fun.
sweet. Looks really deep. It was basically what I was expecting, more or less.
Set up the whiteboard and put everything on there, huh?
Do a little city sim building.
End of the day,
Yeah.
really, it's we have this much time, we have this many
Turn-
people who
turn
can
you
do
down,
what we
Mark.
do.
I
and we
don't
just
care
keep
what you
going
have to say
through it.
now.
Like it doesn't stop here.
Dude, I think they went overboard with the melee buffs. It's gonna be ridiculously overpowered. Like melee is already, in my opinion, melee is already the strongest archetype in the game.
Yeah, it was just a pain in the ass to play.
Yeah, it's just annoying, and you have like low uptime and stuff, but like it doesn't matter.
So they replaced totems.
That's so
Because
nice.
banners have to be placed.
Yeah, yeah, that's probably true.
But it looks like they also buffed banners.
Yeah, I didn't get enough time to read them. It's cool that you can invest into them, but that also might
Yeah.
just kind of be mandatory if they're good enough.
And with all of that,
Well, Dan, you asked me when I was gonna play Melee.
It's time, dude. I don't know what you see. The Wander stuff looks kind of interesting. You know, it's like all attack builds are going to be
I
OP,
thought that
not even
too.
just melee. Although maybe they didn't do anything to bows. I don't remember anything for bows.
I suspect, and honestly, I honestly reckon if someone actually.
Dude, did you see the rewards for the shipment of
Yeah.
resources out?
Yeah. I mean, if it takes 24 hours for it to come back, then you gotta get something.
I mean, one of them had 6 div in it.
Yeah.
On top of all the other bubblegum.
Yeah. Should be fun.
Man, I'm gonna have to get a Steam Deck.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I'm gone for 2 weeks.
I guess I don't really see it that way.
Dude, the Vol Pact, you never played with the old Vol Pact. It was like, I barely even played with it. It was like pretty soon after I started playing that they changed it. That Vol Pact is so overpowered. I can't believe they actually brought it back. You're just full
It's
HP
just
all the time.
Instant leech, right?
Yeah, so it's instant leech, and then if you go Slayer, you get over leech, so your leech never gets taken away. So if you've hit somebody in like the past 8 seconds or whatever it is, you're just full HP. So if you don't get one shot, you're just full HP. It was the most overpowered defensive layer there's ever been, and I can't believe they brought it back. I really think that they went way overboard with these melee buffs. It's gonna be stupid. It's gonna be fun, but like they're gonna nerf everything next league, or they're gonna make everything harder in the game to justify having all this power and defenses. Like they have so many more max reses clusters. You can get blocked so much easier. Like we're just gonna be so OP now.
So really, I mean, gold is something that PoE1 obviously never had. I think it's something that, in retrospect, I think that didn't help the game. The important thing with gold.
What'd you think of the currency auction house?
Oh man. See, I was planning on playing SSF, but it looks sweet. You know, like I've been wanting this for years. So.
I mean, and that's I think the biggest strain on trade.
Yeah.
Is currency.
Yeah.
I mean, going and buying an actual item, not that big of a deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the currency stuff, especially bulk, was such a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm. And it will cost gold, you know, so it won't be free, but...
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, if the gold is something that you just accumulate while mapping,
yeah.
it's just
forces
encouraging you to map more.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be sweet. What was the other thing that they did too? Recombinators are back.
Oh, dude. They said they nerfed them, but
yeah, I don't know what that
but
means.
But still,
though.
even just the ability to slam items together.
I love that Sentinels are back, Affliction's back.
Dude,
I guess the
insane.
mirror thing, what was it, Kalandra League? It's just like the reflection, so it's not like actually the league mechanic. But having reflected modifiers on your gear can be build enabling, so that's pretty cool too. I forget what it was. There was like, I think it was light radius or something like that. If you get like negative values of it, it like breaks a build and makes it crazy OP.
Actual gameplay, right, the stuff we like doing.
For sure. Yeah, I mean that really helps. And as I said, like this system, you know, like it'll be also really nice to be able to see how it works.
Yeah, I'm hyped.
Like it's really nice to, you know, to
again,
do that. And
sad.
We may be able to go further
because I'm not going to be here for most of it.
I think it'll be a long league though.
Oh, I think so too.
It looks so deep.
There is also one thing about this, and just because
I guess let's go see what Steam Deck costs.
Gold is just dropping its items from killing everything in the game.
How bad do you think Steam Deck would be for
You
PoE?
actually need to engage with the league to use the gambling, use the.
I mean, for like the campaign, it'll be fine, but once you get into some juiced maps, definitely it'd be tough.
More experimental with it and seeing how it goes. Like if you don't like the league.
I mean, I have no idea. I've never used one. But my computer struggles in juiced maps, so I would imagine. Okay, I am registered for PoE2.
Oh, did you get the email?
Yeah, I had to log in and then do it again.
Even if you basically don't do any of the other stuff.
Yeah. Which means, of course,
What do you mean?
if it is successful,
I had to log in the top right. There's a login.
turn gold drops on, put Faustus in,
Oh.
done. I mean, there's a little bit more than that, but you know, that's generally the summary of it. It doesn't have to come with the whole kind of city building element and all of that comes alongside it. Yeah.
Yeah, so do you see it being something that's likely to stick around then, and that's kind of the intention?
That is certainly our intention. It's
Yeah.
just that we want to be able to still have.
Okay, I'm gonna go for a run real quick, and then
change some stuff. So yeah, like it is.
before Passionless comes out, dude,
Safety net it being part of the
crazy.
PoE there. Safety rip
Probably,
just in case.
Yeah, that's
suspect also
insane.
no one's going to let us remove it, right?
Life values are gonna be higher, which has like a huge impact on things.
189 on a chest.
Yep, you can. I think you can get up to 130 on other pieces of gear.
So there's also this gambling thing.
So I think it's like plus 50 across the board.
Actually, look pretty powerful. From producing were like those really well rolled rares. What's the idea behind the gold?
I want to see the numbers behind the determination and grace nerfs, because if they're still,
Gold to just be accumulated forever.
I don't know,
the other thing is
it'll
that
probably
target specific base types.
be better to just do
And that's
damaging auras and then get defenses on your gear, hopefully.
You're looking for specific targeted gear upgrades. Very, very useful for that. And
Should be a pretty sweet balance patch.
as you get higher and higher level, I guess as you upgrade your tavern, I guess technically sort of.
Alright,
but
I'll
also
switch
as you
me
just get
back to
higher
Path of
level,
Exile
it
too.
upgrades the modifier tier rating, which was a term some people might not know. But it
All right,
was
I'm gonna get going. I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Okay.
cuts off the bottom X,
Sounds good.
tier
Peace.
that can generate. So,
Yeah.
so the items by endgame will be generating with a minimum